options. Is there any other, since I kind of interrupted Rich when you were concluding your thought, does this kind of sound like something that might be more amenable or could work?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think all those, it would be great if we had the different options. And again, for me, high school is a time where kids get exposed to all kinds of opportunities. And so I want to make sure how we maximize them, and how you guys just discussed a junior senator, senior senator type thing, or a incumbent or an alternate, whatever you've got to call it, and however it works out. For me, it's more about the most number of people getting the most opportunities possible. So yeah, that's the principle.
And I will point out, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm partial to the 2-term limit just because I've seen what that second term can bring to a district, and it just kind of blew me away because I didn't even realize that was possible. And that's also why when we were kind of creating this panel and this process, even if we did establish a 2-term limit, the goal is that it still allows for the opportunity of a new student every year. So if the panel finds a candidate who could really flourish in the position, it is totally within their ability to elect that new member. And that's really in the goals of allowing the position to be available to every high schooler that is interested. But it's more so about allowing a student board member to continue their work, because there's a lot of work that I know myself that you just can't get done in one school year, and that second school year really just allows you to kind of be at your best.
One thing I don't think it's a bad idea to have all 3 schools represented, but based on student enrollment and percentages of population and things like that, I might lean toward having it be 1 representative from alternative ed, which would be a combination of North Bay Med and Windsor Oaks, maybe 1 underclassman from the freshman sophomore area, and maybe 1 upperclassman from the junior senior as the 3 students on the panel, or 3 of the students on the panel, just as a way to get more representation from the general student body, and not just a smaller group of presidents or whatever you wanted to call them.
Yeah, for the panel, that was definitely a consideration, but a big thing was the idea that this process does need to include all of our high schools. And because Windsor Oaks and North Bay Met are separate high schools, they do both need to be individually included in the process. And I know originally my plan had like 13 people on the panel to maximize everyone being accounted for, but we narrowed it down to 9 to make sure everyone's represented, but that it's still a manageable group.
If
Anything
I could,
else?
recommendation, I think that we've got some good feedback. If I could bring back a board policy and maybe an AR, and then within that board policy or AR, depending on what we're discussing, have some optional language for the board to consider and discuss, especially around the 2-term limit and things like that. I could give different options. You guys could weigh in with kind of where you fall and potentially make a decision based on that. Does that work?
Go ahead, Bill, and then I have a comment.
Yeah, I know you showed the graphic back all those hours ago during your student report. Was your panel going to meet on the 17th of June? Because our next board meeting is the 15th of June. I just wanted to make sure that wherever route we're going to go to refine and revisit this policy, it is done before your panel meets. Did I remember that right in my notes?
I'm just looking over the timeline I have set here, and ideally the next student board member would be decided, it would be announced during our June meeting, our first June meeting. That is just with the ideal timeline that Superintendent Decker and I created.